Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing amazing. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, I would like to give you a very big warm welcome. So in this video, I made some rice mikate, or what some people like to call rice puff puff. This is a very simple recipe, so I really hope you enjoy watching this tutorial. So I've got all my ingredients gathered here. First off, I have half a cup of long grain rice. You can use basmati as well. I also have a third of a cup of sugar, as well as a teaspoon of salt, and I've got some Nido milk powder. Condensed milk is also a great alternative if you don't have milk powder. I've got some vegetable oil and some self-raising flour, and I've got a cup of water. So starting off, I have my pot here which I poured my rice into, and I added some water here just to wash my rice, and you can see here I'm just kind of squeezing the starch out of the rice, and I obviously made sure to wash my hands before doing this, and you can see here that I repeated the process about 2 to 3 times, and it was after the third wash that the starch started to go away. So once I had washed the starch off the rice, I began boiling the rice, so I added a cup of water into this pot. I then covered my pot with its lid, and I let the rice cook on medium to high heat for about 10 to 15 minutes. So once that was done, you can see I scraped the rice off the bottom of the pot so that I could get it all out, and this part took a bit of time. So you can see that I was kind of struggling to get all the rice off the bottom, which is why I added some water, and the water really helped me scrape the rice off the bottom of the pot. Of course, you can make your rice using a rice cooker, which is a more convenient and less time-consuming process. So next, I placed my cooked rice into this mixing bowl, and then I started adding my ingredients. So I added my sugar. I also added my milk powder as well. I used about a third of a cup of this. I also added a cup of flour, but I split it into parts. So here, right here, I added a quarter of a cup. I also added a teaspoon of salt, and then I gave everything a good mix, forming it into like a crumble-ish consistency. Once I had achieved this consistency, I added a quarter of a cup of milk, and then I gave everything a good mix until it formed a solid batter. So like I said before, I added a cup of flour, but I split it into parts. So in this part, I added half a cup of flour, and then I mixed it a little bit. And so because I felt that it was a bit too sticky, I added an extra quarter of a cup of flour. So I added 1 cup of flour in total, but I just split it into 3 parts. So now that I've got my desired consistency, it was time for me to form the balls. So I've got my chopping board here along with my batter. I've also got a bit of oil here which I added onto my chopping board using this grease brush, and I made sure to grease the entire chopping board so that the rice batter does not stick onto it. Next up, I used some oil to grease my hands so that I could start forming the ball shapes, making sure to grease my hands entirely so that the batter does not stick. So here I grabbed a section of the batter and I placed them into the palm of my hands so that I could roll them and form them into like a giant capsule shape. So I'm kind of just forming the batter and rolling it as if it's Play-Doh. And I just repeated the process until I used up all the batter, making sure to grease my hands before rolling each piece. So these are all the balls that I formed. I made 11 pieces in total, and now it's time to fry them. So now I've got my non-stick frying pan here, which I know is not the best and I need to get a new one. Anyway, I added a generous amount of vegetable oil into the frying pan and I started frying my rice mikate balls one by one. Also, I fried it on medium to high heat, but before actually frying it, I waited for the oil to heat up first for about 10 minutes before putting the balls inside. And also, this batter is quite sticky, so it's going to take a lot of patience to put the balls into the oil. So I began flipping the balls over after a minute or so of frying them on one side so that the balls could fry on the other side. And what I was aiming for here were the balls to be golden brown. Once this batch of mikate balls were cooked, I put them all onto this plate with tissues on them. This is so that the oil could be drained from the balls. I then began frying the next batch of rice mikate balls, and I repeated the same process until they were golden brown. Now that all the balls have been fried, that's pretty much the cooking process done. So you can choose to eat it directly from the plate that you used to drain the oils from the mikate, or you can serve it like I did here. So you can see here that I just plated it up for presentation purposes and serving purposes. I have no idea why, but I like to do this. I guess it's my way of creating food content. So that's it. That is how I made this rice mikate. Very easy recipe, like I said in the beginning of this video. So if you enjoyed watching this, please do give this video a like and also hit that subscribe button for more recipes like this. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone.